Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return with round 5 of the F123 Lancia Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Miami Grand Prix. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live from Baku at the end of last week, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Safe to say, we're slowly getting into the groove of things with this series, of course. Doing a lot of work still behind the scenes. You can see we've got a couple more upgrades that hopefully will be on the car over the next couple of weekends there. But yeah, just a little way behind sort of Alpine, Haas, Alfa Romeo, Williams and AlphaTauri. It is a mega battle in the second half of the standings there. Constructors and Drivers' Championship, we're still yet to score a point. But my 11th place finish last weekend has bumped us all the way up into P16 there. God damn you, Pierre Gasly. But yeah, maybe this weekend, of course, we can try and get our first win of the season. Verstappen still clear at the top there, 17 points lead over Charles Leclerc. But yeah, get yourself subscribed and let's do this thing. It feels good then to be back, obviously, with a normal weekend format here as we move into Miami. However, would not surprise me if this is a soon candidate for a sprint race as well, despite the fact, you know, I enjoy racing the track on the F1 game, but it doesn't quite deliver a particularly good race in real Formula 1, or it certainly hasn't so far, or when it's time in the sport. This car feeling very, very loose early on in FP1. Of course, grip is down, tyres are hard, and we also need to put a new gearbox in the car before we get into qualifying. But yeah, fingers crossed, obviously we can try and pick up some R&D, see nice and early on in the weekend. Also, you'll now notice we've got some social media links down in the Halo device as well. So yeah, again, a massive thank you to our mod creator. They should have been on there from the start of the year, but genuinely, I'm a moron and forgot to put them on. Anyway, over the line, first lap is going to be a green score. We'll give it another one, see if we can bag purple. Oh, come on, out of the final corner, I think we're again going to miss out and only get the green score 5 points away. I've got to go for one more. Come on then, through the final couple of corners. Final attempt, this should be purple now, unless I do anything really stupid on the exit. Out of the final corner, up towards the line. There we go. Almost a maximum score. But anyway, I'll run a couple of other practice programs and we'll move into quali. But we're still yet to make it into Q2 at any point so far this season, so maybe today can see a bit of a change up then, as we've got a couple of cars heading back into the pit lane. I might be starting my first run a bit too close to Oscar Piastri here. But yeah, Miami, like I've said, you know, it's a track I like, it's a track I feel fairly confident at. But really, yeah, it's just a question of just how good the AI as always are gonna be. So we really sent it through there first time round. Often you want to lift out, but we kept the throttle pinned. But though, I've also used way too much battery early on this lap. When you go out onto the track, the AI actually leaves you in the hot lap mode as you make your way down the back straight. So we've only got 35% charge as we round our way towards that section of the circuit again to finish off my first lap. The lap itself, though, has actually felt pretty tidy here. So as we make our way in towards the final real corner of the venue, it looks like we will just about have enough, but it's not going to be particularly fun. Braking at the 100-meter ball there, trying not to snag the front right tyre. Really easy on the throttle as you head back up the hill then, up towards the start-finish line. There was a banker lap, a 1:28.7. And we end up P16 there. We are in the ballpark. Well, pretty much the entire back half of the field then are covered by genuinely 0.4 of a second here as we get ready to start my final run here in Q1. Heading into this final lap, we only need about another 0.2. But will we be able to find that? The first lap, like I said, was pretty damn tidy. Obviously, I've made sure that we save the battery as well, ready to use it all on this one. Let's see what we can do then. Down through turn 1 fairly clean. You know, really the whole lap's kind of decided by how well you get through those first couple of corners. And we are again up, but not by a lot. Much tidier run out onto the back straight there. We're a quarter of a second up at the moment, but times are improving all around me. Now you can see myself and Vershaw, 20th and 21st. Tidier run as well as we head out onto the back straight. And look at that, we're quite a way up. on Alex Albon here. We know this final sector is where the AI become really, really strong, but will this be enough? We've got to get the car nicely through the hairpin. Will this be our first Q2 appearance of the season then? Nice and tidy out. Put the throttle down, half a second up. Surely this is going to be enough to get us into Q2. A 27.2, I believe, and that is P11. We're into Q2 for the first time this year. Well, still a long old way to go, of course, against some of the big hitters there, but yeah, less than, what, thousandths away from George Russell, so very, very happy with that lap time there. You can see Tsunoda and Gasly as well, I'm sure, both ecstatic with the lap times they've been able to put in. But yeah, Richard Verschoor will line up P21 on the grid here in Miami. I mean, we've only got one set of tyres for Q2. I'm going to go out for one glory run and we'll see anything higher than 16th as a bonus. I mean, we absolutely love to see it, don't we? Lancia, for the first time ever in their return to Formula 1. Into the second session, of course, and I cannot wait for the first time we make it into Q3. However, looking at the times, I'm not convinced today is going to be that day. Effectively now, this is a bit of a glory run as we made it into Q2, but there are still a couple of cars that we definitely are going to look to beat here. We're trying to put the power down as we make our way out onto the back straight. I mean, if we could beat the time Stroll set, I'd be quite happy. Not going to do ourselves any favours, though, by not activating the DRS. A little bit late on the brakes into the hairpin, but we actually get the car slowed down and aggressive on the throttle on the exit there up towards the line. What is the time gonna be? 27.9. It is another improvement there. It won't be Q3 though, it's P11. We could have genuinely been in the running. Well, there we go, at the end of Q2 we are faster than George Russell in his Mercedes there, and 9 thousandths away from Esteban Ocon. So that DRS has probably just cost us a Q3 appearance here in Miami. But it is Perez ahead of both McLarens at the top of the timing screens. Yuki and Esteban as well. Hopefully we're going to be starting near them. For the second weekend in a row, it looks like we're in the fight for points.
Formula One has arrived in the Sunshine State for spectacular sunsets, gentle breezes, warm waters, and for what will be a fantastic race day here at the Miami International Autodrome. A lap of the Miami Grand Prix features 3.36 miles of track around the Hard Rock Stadium, and 19 corners make up the Miami International Autodrome, which will challenge the drivers in a tight wheel-to-wheel race. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, Verstappen, Hamilton, Norris, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, Tsunoda, Firestarter, Russell, Stroll, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Ricciardo, Magnussen, Albon, Joe, Richard Verschoor, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Well, here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Miami GP, and looks like we could see some rain towards the end of the afternoon there. That is very, very interesting here. So probably going to want to be on a set of the softs towards the end of the race, which pretty much locks us in on a set of mediums, of course. We found out in Albert Park how much I don't want to be on a set of hard compound tyres to start these GPs. A 2-stop. Is that possible? Is a 2-stop viable here this afternoon? If we went soft, medium, soft, wouldn't it? Reckons it's 9 seconds slower, although we could cut some of that out. Only reckons it's 7.5 seconds slower. I'm tempted to gamble it. You know, the Miami pit lane isn't particularly long either. I'm tempted just to throw caution to the wind today. We're going to have to go aggressive off the start, but let's try a 2-stop. Well, it looks like a couple of other cars have had a similar idea, but lining up then on the grid, 5 red lights. It's a mighty long hole, but it is lights out and away we go. Then here in Miami, Alonso not starting off well. We're going to be 4 wide as we head in towards Turn 1 there, and I'm just going to have to try and find an avenue around the outside there. Alonso and Hamilton the two McLaren sparring partners coming together down at turn 1. A little bit of contact there as the Mercedes gets a bit forced out. But we needed a good start here, and that is exactly what we've had. Obviously, Tsunoda and an Ocon even. Two of the cars that I definitely feel like we should be battling today. So look at that, Verstappen. Quite odd seeing him all the way down in 6th place there as we make our way out onto the back straight on lap 1. Ferrari with a 1-2 at the front of the field. But yeah, we've navigated two of the cars that I really needed to off the start of this race. Here comes Tsunoda though coming back at me as we make our way down the back straight. Obviously I'm going to cover that one off in towards the hairpin. You know, we can afford to be quite aggressive on these tyres early on this afternoon, but you know, still the two-stop, you know, we're going to be pushing a lot today. So kind of giving me Qatar 2023 vibes a little bit. But yeah, I mean, really, of course, the question is just going to be when is that rain going to arrive late on in the afternoon. But pretty much the best start I could have hoped for here. Let's go take a look, see if anything interesting's happened up and down the field. Well, I want to ride on board then with Charles Leclerc here at the start of the race. You can see I'm starting just behind Sergio Perez. And it's going to be 5 red lights and lights out. And away we go. They're actually a fairly even start as they make their way in towards turn 1. Carlos Sainz at the front of the field is going to try and cover the Mexican off there. And Charles Leclerc just will say thank you very much there. And that's the difference. You know, you kind of can't help but feel that Verstappen maybe would have been able to keep one of those Ferraris at bay. Yeah, not the first time this season though. Ferrari up to a 1-2 early on. Will they be able to hang on to it? Sensibly then as we start lap 3. Ferrari still trading fastest laps at the front of the field. I'm happy obviously we've been able to get Yuki out of the DRS range here, or theoretically we have, to make our way through the first couple of turns. But I'm a bit worried obviously once George Russell gets the jump on him that he's going to drag him back towards me here. Of course our fight isn't really, you know, with the big hitters that are all the cars in front of me. But we do need to try and hang with them and use them as best as possible throughout this first stint. Oh, that's a really stupid warning to pick up on just lap 3. Still yet to get a track limits penalty this season. I know it won't last forever. But happy so far, you know, with the consistency we've showcased. Definitely a lot easier to do when we're not in a maxed out my team car. Oh, come on, Matt. That's another one, 2 in 2 laps. So we make our way through there. It's such a weird corner for making a mistake on because it's not a big challenge or anything. You're just so focused on the next corner that you kind of forget to worry about it. But anyway, Russell has almost got Tsunoda out of his range already. So still kind of going to be spending a lot more time focusing on those cars behind. Yes, we have lost the range to Lewis. But we are on a Mercedes sandwich here in Miami. Yeah, I think we're about to lose a place to George Russell here. Unfortunately as well, Tsunoda still seems to just about be hanging on inside his range. I'm not going to make it difficult for Georgie boy. If I can avoid it, and he will go flying around me there. So I'll back down into 10th place then this afternoon. But yeah, those cars behind, I really do not want to get locked into battles with. The soft tyres just are not working early on. Oh no, here comes Yuki on lap 6. The AlphaTauri car down the inside he'll go. We need to try and hook it up around the outside. They're so close to contact to myself and the young Japanese driver. And we also, of course, need to try and make sure we stay in the range of George Russell there. Really mounting that curbing as best as we can. Getting the car rotated through, but no, we've lost the DRS. Oh, things are just not looking good for us early on here. We had all the pace on Saturday. We get into the Grand Prix Sunday and still, you know, it's still, you know, it's the slowest car on the Formula 1 grid at the moment. It is still a challenge. It's, you know, it doesn't feel the same lap after lap. It will shred through its tyres early on in a stint if you overwork them. It's still a bit of a handful. This is the challenge. So we've got yellows out. Someone in front, I believe it's a McLaren going slowly. Yep, that's Oscar Piastri out of the Grand Prix. What has happened to the McLaren? Oscar Piastri then really fighting up at the front today. They're running P4 early on this afternoon as he follows Sergio Perez and those Ferrari cars, but he makes his way back down in towards the first corner here. And I think that engine, yep, is just going to go pop on him. Just about gets out of the way there. Lucky not to give Verstappen front wing damage. But what a heartbreaking end to Oscar Piastri's afternoon. Far, far earlier than it ever should have come to an end. It is going to mean I can lose the place to Yuki Tsunoda and still be inside the top 10. Ocon as well, breathing down his neck. That Alpine car really shouldn't be in this backmarker battle. Should probably be sat in sort of 10th, 11th, there or thereabouts each and every race. Oh, here comes Ocon though. Down the inside there, we're almost 3 wide. Down the end of the back straight, we will just about hang on around the outside there and squeeze him out. But yeah, I think Yuki Tsunoda just panicked at the last moment. And we'll live to fight another day. And another day is going to be about 2 more corners. Esteban Ocon, I mean, look at that straight line speed of the Alpine. We know it's a bit of a missile down the straights. And Ocon is through and up into 9th place then. 2 places gained this lap for the Frenchman. Verstappen, very, very early pit stop for the Dutchman. First car to blink this race at just the end of lap 9. But yeah, we are going to then box the end of this lap. We're still on our 2-stop strategy there. The Dutchman looks to be trying to take a set of hards to the end. Right, heading onto the back straight though to finish lap 9 then of the Miami GP. George Russell very much in no man's land at the moment, but we'll see if we can get a move done on Esti Bestie. Oh, I've missed my braking point there. Don't hit the wall. Oh, man.
Okay, so the gap to the car behind is 2.1 seconds.
Side by side with Magnussen as we try and get then into the pit lane there. And yeah, well, to be honest, it wasn't even that I was desperately trying to outbrake Ocon by, you know, a huge margin. It was more just I spotted the 100-meter board and thought it was the 150. So big, big mistake then at the end of our first stint here. We are going to bot on that set of mediums and hopefully undercut our way back past a lot of these back marker cars. Of course, it is basically the second half of the field.
Nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Okay, 1 stop to go. Just 1 stop left in this strategy.
Mark giving me a lot of conversations there that I don't really need to have, and yeah, now we've got to try and work this undercut. I know it is still very, very early doors, but the soft tyres are feeling wonderful on the wagon at the moment. Vasseur and Sargent have kind of got stuck in this battle with each other. That's meant that they've now drifted way off the back of the field, as I believe that's George Russell then. Just our 3rd car into the pits today. So, yeah, Verstappen, George and I, still the only 3 to have boxed. Oh no, here we go, we've got a handful more in then at the end of that lap. So yeah, strategy is playing out quite weirdly early on today. We should be ahead of all these cars once more. And luckily for us, Russell actually comes out behind Sargent and our teammate. There we go, Sargent into the pits.
Just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
Okay, well that rain then apparently is going to be rolling in much, much sooner than we'd originally anticipated here. We'll wait and see how long it actually takes to show up. But yeah, could we actually end up stretching this set of the mediums then to the wet period? How bad is the rain going to be as well? I guess that's the other real question, as we've pretty much already made up the pit stop I've lost to Richard Vasseur. It's not the first time I've gone wheel to wheel with my teammate this campaign, but yeah, hopefully, of course, as we get ourselves out onto the back straight, Vasseur isn't really going to fight it too hard. Definitely lost a couple of seconds behind him though. He is losing time and just general race pace quite rapidly actually at the moment, as we'll try and have to get some DRS off of them. We'll tuck into the slipstream, we'll move to the outside. Not really sure why he's fighting this so hard. There should be some team orders at play. We'll get all the way around the outside there, give him a little bit of a squeeze. Someone just on the pit wall remind him who owns this team, please. There's plenty more cars into the pit lane though as we cross half distance. And we're going to be out not that far behind Fernando Alonso. We got Gasly into the pit lane, and I believe the 1 car we've got left to box is a Haas. So we should be back up inside the top 10 then, once all the pit stops have played out here. But now, we are basically willing that rain on. But I've only just realised as well, looking on the mini-map, it's actually both Haas cars that have still yet to box. There we go, like clockwork, Kevin Magnussen into the pit lane then. But yeah, Hulkenberg is still out there on his first set of tyres. Richard Vasseur's done the same, which is a shame because he was holding up a lot of AI quite nicely for us. But yeah, that's a mad strategy choice by Haas then. So I guess you've got to really, if you don't have faith in the softs going that far, but obviously you want to use them. Perhaps they were hoping that the rain would arrive a little bit earlier, I don't quite know. But yeah, we are back up inside the top 10 then. Going to gain another one probably the end of this lap as Hulkenberg is sinking like a stone. But, yeah, will we have the box again here? The track is not looking anywhere near overcast enough, as here comes Danny Rick into the points perhaps for the first time this season. The AlphaTauri driver there just will hold me back. There we go, that answers that question. Team saying that rain is still 10 to 15 minutes away, so it might not even arrive before the end of the afternoon. Can we try and have a look back down the inside of Danny Rick at the final corner? Thought about it, but I don't want to do what I did with Esteban earlier on. We will be back up. Whoa! Great. Great, 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 great. Get on to the mediums. There we go. So annoying. So annoying there. Please say the team is changing the wing as well. It's forced us into the box a little bit earlier than I wanted, and we're going to be on those mediums rather than the softs. Please say they're changing the wing, otherwise it's basically game over. They're not. It's GG's here. We're in big trouble towards the end of the race. Yellow wing.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
I know, of course, that it's set to auto, but surely that would have been worth changing the wing. I mean, we're not going to give up yet. We know what we need to fight to try and find. But yeah, that downforce loss is not fun. And we get a 3-second penalty as well. I definitely lost time there. No idea what that's about. I'm really hoping now, basically towards the end of this thing, that we get a red flag or a safety car. But yeah, my first time penalty of the season. And can't help but feel like that one certainly didn't warrant a penalty. Well, just 7 laps to go then here in Miami. Ferrari still in control at the front of the field, as it's been a rough old day for Max Verstappen. Strategy of his team really have let him down here, but yeah, there's still definitely the opportunity to fight with some cars towards the end of this. But that sky is getting more and more ominous here. Of course, Logan Sargent, now a Formula 1 point scorer in the USA. The first time since 1993. But yeah, without a miracle, doesn't look like that's going to happen today in this series there. As you can see, he's practically pushing his teammate Alex Albon along to make our way down the end of the back straight. Can we try and get right around the outside? And not one, maybe even both Williams there. We will take Logan Sargent despite the front wing damage. It's not actually costing me too much. Well, towards the end here, as Gulf Racing Williams there just sat in the way off of the corner. And you can just see, I can't do anything against the AI there. They always use so much battery out onto this back straightaway. But are we going to be able to try and get to Ocon as well? Albon's going defensive. They can try and send it around the outside of the Williams. A little bit of wheel bang in there. So Albon again tags me. But we'll get round the outside of both Williams then in just a half a lap or so here in Miami. But that rain is pretty much here. You get the sense that it's just going to start dropping from the sky at any moment. Because yeah, not really sure what's happened to Ocon in the second half of this race, but he's really starting to struggle. Well, we're up to P17.
Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
There we go. Yeah, that rain is any point now. Oh, there we go. The rain has arrived. Just start seeing dripping across the halo. Oh, come on. How bad is this going to be right towards the end?
And gap to the car in front is 5.4 seconds. There's a new strategy available on the MFD.
Oh, okay. Team saying a new strat. 3 laps to go. That's hardly helpful, is it? I honestly thought they were going to suggest inters then. And to be honest, I was prepared to throw caution to the wind. We can't really lose a lot here late on. But, yeah, I think we might just be trying to bring home this P17. While making our way in towards the final lap then of the Miami GP. And the other big thing that's really worried me in all of this, Daniel Ricciardo in that AlphaTauri. Looks like he might be able to snooker away a couple of points as well here. So Lancia might be the only team yet to be off the starting block. But yeah, honestly, looking at our pace towards the end of this thing, yeah, had we not made the mistake, we might have been there or thereabouts. We could have been sort of fighting towards the front of this huge train. But I ultimately, yeah, you know, the tyres weren't going to go the distance that we needed them to, I don't think, sensibly I would have been able to do an effective one-stop here. So I think it was one of those races that whatever way we look at it, we were going to be close to points, but not quite there. And unfortunately, you know, once again, it feels like another race of agonizingly close and almost, but not quite. But that's the way Formula 1 goes sometimes. We're certainly picking up a lot of momentum at the moment, and definitely will score those points sooner rather than later. Out of the final corner, though, it is going to be Ferrari back on top once again there. Charles Leclerc, his second race victory of the season, and with that, might now have actually taken the lead of the World Championship away from Max Verstappen. I'll have to have a look on those final race results, but I believe there might only be a point in it. But yeah, as we round our way through the final couple of corners, though, luckily, the 3-second time penalty doesn't like it's going to make much of a difference by the end of the GP there. But yeah, race of strategy today, of course. I'm quite happy the rain didn't have as big an effect as we thought it might do, of course, because I wasn't quite able to stick to plan A. But yeah, it certainly has got rather damp towards the end of this thing, but not enough to really change the outcome at all. At the final couple of corners, it is P17 here in Miami.
They've done it then! A truly magnificent win here at the Miami International Autodrome. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari do it again. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Charles Leclerc's points today take him to the top of the championship standings. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Well, my driver of the day has to be Charles Leclerc. He was unstoppable out on the track today, weaving through the competition with ease.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot then, but with today's points, their hold on that lead is getting weaker. Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Miami Grand Prix, and Charles Leclerc, yep, Ferrari's second win of the season there. Keeps Verstappen at bay, and he's actually going to take the championship lead as well in the process. Perez P2 ahead of Hamilton. Carlos Sainz there from pole position, finishing down in 4th place ahead of Alonso. Yeah, very good result for Aston Martin there. Norris, yeah, Verstappen, not sure what that two-stop strategy was, but he was still able to beat out George Russell there, and you can see the difference between sort of Formula 1 and Formula 1.5 there. 22-second gap between Russell and Ricciardo there, but it is a first points for the Australian, of course, on his return to Formula 1. Stroll there in 10th place as well. And yeah, Yuki Tsunoda just missing out, all things considered. Haas's aggressive strategy almost paid off for them as well, but 17th and 19th for us. Really unfortunate, to be honest. Of course, we moved off the bottom of the table last weekend, and immediately we've been sent right back to the tail end of the field there. But yeah, it is 1 point between Leclerc and Verstappen, but it is in the Monegasque driver's favour, 95 to 94, as we leave Miami there. And yet Ricciardo as well will jump up into P13, and unfortunately we will get relegated all the way back down into P18 overall of the championship there. Also, AlphaTauri, yeah, moved from 11th to 7th with those 2 points. So it really is only going to take one big result for us to move back up the order there. Ferrari now as well, just 5 points behind Red Bull. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure I leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very, very soon when Formula 1 returns for our first home Grand Prix of the season. We'll be back for Imola. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.